Welcome back, New Jersey football fans, to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. Mark Trible, joined by Coach Tim McAneney and Rod Self tonight as we have one of our most favorite episodes of the year. This is the playoff preview extravaganza. Tonight we're going to take a journey through all the public school brackets as playoffs kick off starting tomorrow night. That'll be Thursday night. October 30th. Things get spooky on Friday. A little trick or treat. We'll see who advances. A lot of stuff to cover. A lot of games to cover. A lot of South Jersey representation in the South and Central Jersey brackets in groups 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, Mac, here we are. And
Trip.
I got to say, this is one of my favorite shows of the year. It's also the longest show of the year. We go through a lot of stuff. Chris Baker has made sure to cobble together a ton of information. We'll go through every matchup that features a South Jersey team.
Well, it's the start of the second season, so that's why it's like it's akin to our August, getting ready for the season. Now it's like it's not that the regular season didn't matter, because it does matter. It's important.
It is, but
now it's all right. We've had a nice ramp up. Both sides. If you're a team that has high expectations and you're these things, and I don't like to say expectations, but a lot of teams do have those situations where they feel if they don't do this, that, and the other, that it's been not that successful of a season. Then you have other teams that maybe didn't have the season they wanted to have. Right? A blip here, a blip there. We talked about it in pre-show about
talk about the Millvilles of the world, right?
Correct, okay. Right? A young team that had a couple situations that, who are they, right? Now it's playoff time. And as they say, cream will rise to the top.
Exactly.
And, steel sharpens whatever, steel sharpens steel, all iron sharpens iron, all the sayings, all the stuff. But here we are. It's playoff time. It feels like football. It's getting dark. We lose daylight savings.
Fall forward or fall back?
We fall back. Come on, Trib. What's going on in Virginia?
I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I do want to give a shout out first to our presenting sponsor, though, the West Jersey Football Coaches Association. It was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. And in less than 4 years, exactly what it's done. The Battle at the Beach that kicks off the season down in Ocean City has been a big success, and the money that's come from that, the proceeds, have been donated all across different organizations, including Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey, of which I am the president. We're grateful for that as well. So I want to thank the West Jersey Football Coaches Association because their presenting sponsorship puts us here. If you're watching this on Facebook, we got to shout out the guy who runs that page, South Jersey Glory Days, Dave O'Sullivan. He founded South Jersey Glory Days. He's the reason we have this Facebook platform. It's been a number of years now. Everybody who's in the chat, we appreciate it. Be sure to visit his site, sjglorydays.com, to see all the coverage that he has, not just with football, but also with field hockey, soccer, other sports. He's got it all for you. So thank you, Sully. Mac, real quick, we'll talk about the game of the week last week. I had Haddonfield hosting Paul VI.
Sure. Yeah.
Teams separated by about 2.5 miles. And I got to tell you, I was impressed once again with the Haddons and what they did. They win this thing 24-7. Right off the bat, they get a fumble return for touchdown, and not, as it were, on the opening kickoff. Joey Testa recovers a touchdown and runs it, recovers a fumble and runs it in. But the fumble's forced by Mike Keenan. Remember these names, folks. Mike Keenan, okay? After an excellent touchdown catch by Nick Reed of Paul VI at 7-7, Jack McKeever catches a 3-yard touchdown pass from Dan Keenan on a halfback pass.
The brother.
Yeah. So then the second half comes around, and Van Lafakis throws a 74-yard touchdown pass to Mike Keenan.
Yes.
And then the final score of the night, a 22-yard field goal, comes from Dan Keenan.
The Keenans had a good night.
Keenan and Keenan, Esquire, as it were.
They're good players, man. Mike and Dan, both of them. We've talked about Mike earlier in the season. Big, strong, just your quintessential high school football player, right? You look at him, he looks the part.
Yeah.
Tough kid, does a great job. and then brother Dan playing quarterback. That's got to be awesome. It's got to be cool, right?
Well, he's playing it as a halfback. I mean, they bring him in. They say, "Here, throw."
Well, he can. Right.
He can do whatever.
He can do whatever.
The kicker.
Right. The kicker, and being able to throw like in that position, being able to throw a touchdown pass to his brother, it's cool stuff.
Big win for Haddonfield as the biggest news for them is they clinched the number 1 overall seed in South and Central Group 2. We'll go through those brackets, but they are the 1 seed, and because they're further south than the team that was right behind them, which is Camden High. I don't know how much further south they are, maybe a whisker. But either way, that puts them in South. It puts Camden High in Central.
Right.
And they clinch a share of the West Jersey Football League Continental Division title with Seneca, who they beat earlier in the year. As we've talked about before, the West Jersey Football League shares titles. And try to get Coach Delano to bite on that one. He wouldn't quite take the bait. Mac, if you tie for a division and you beat the team you tied with,
we won the division.
Yeah. Do you get upset that they're going to hang a banner, even though really it's?
Well, I mean,
you lost to somebody too, so it's not as if you're above reproach. But
no, I mean, look, I get it, but usually if the two teams at the top have tied. I mean, the only time I believe in the tie is the 3-way when
everybody beat everybody.
Yeah, ABB, BBC, and CB. I mean, there you got to be like, hey, we all beat each other.
It's like the Commander-in-Chief trophy.
Correct.
Nobody gets it that year.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, it just sits on the shelf.
Yeah.
But if two teams are at the top and each have a loss, and I beat you and you're above me, it's my conference. If you beat me, it's your conference.
I think deep down, that's probably the way everybody felt. But, you got to – all Coach Delano did was praise Seneca, and rightfully so. Also a very good team, but Haddonfield did get the better of them. So they split the Continental Division title. As Chris remarks in here, we could have seen a 4-way tie in that division, but Seneca beat Willingboro on Thursday night. And, so that made it a 2-horse race. It was either going to be Seneca alone or Seneca and Haddonfield. And it splits. Ron Johnson in the chat. How can 2-7 and 3-6 teams be in the playoffs? Seems like a waste of diesel fuel for these games. Well, Ron, I mean, a number of years ago, the state changed exactly the way that they credit teams because teams have weighted schedules and play tougher teams. I think teams that play a rigorous schedule and win a few games versus teams that play a lighter schedule and win more. They try to balance it out. It's not a perfect science, as always. But, to the point, though, Mac, I will say this. I know there's a lot of talk about who should be in, who should be out, whatever. And all valid points, good conversations, and improving the playoff system as we move forward. And that's how all of this stuff gets changed, as people talk about it, and they blog about it, or they talk about it on their podcasts or whatever. And eventually things do evolve. The question is, though, Mac, with 16 teams making the playoffs, the teams that are just on the outside, this is not to disparage them, but it's a wide net now of who makes the playoffs. If you're just on the outside,
Trip. I'm going to date myself here.
I remember it was 4, it was 2.
There was Group 5 is relatively new in my space, in my world, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, in Group 5, you now have added, do the quick math, throughout the state. 4 sections of Group 5 times, right? That's how many more? 8. It's 32 more teams in the playoffs. Bang. I'll actually even go back even further. And Trib, you actually saw the game where a Bishop Eustace team of 1985 tied a Camden Catholic team of 1985. You've watched it on 8.
I have. Yeah.
You've seen it on 8mm. Both teams knocked each other out of the playoffs because the Bishop Eustace team of 1985 was 4-2-2, and back then you had to have 12 points. And they did it old school. 2 points for a win, 1 point for a tie. Well, 4-2-2 is 10 points. Didn't make the playoffs. Camden Catholic didn't make the playoffs. Both teams tied each other. We should have flipped a coin at halftime and let the winner make the playoffs. But we knocked each other out, and there was no overtime.
Yeah.
So there you go. I'm going to date myself. A lot of things have evolved, and that was, again, people were like, Mac, that was 40 years ago. But
I'll date myself too. We used to wake up Sunday morning, run to the corner store, get the paper, see if you made the playoffs, and you see you missed by a couple points is kind of heartbreaking back then.
Right? So, again, the 2-7 teams or 2-6, 3-win teams, we can't penalize teams for getting these good schedules, right? I mean, at the end of the day, these schedules, if you're playing a real tough schedule, you're going to get some power points. You're going to get now. You could argue how they do the OSI, the UPR, et cetera, et cetera. But
Well, I think any type of give and take that comes with the understanding of restructuring divisions, and the West Jersey Football League does it on a 2-year basis. Restructuring, you have to tell a team, look, you're going to play a juggernaut of opponents, but you're not gonna be penalized for that, right? If you only win 3 games, but that's the agreement of, okay, well, that's kind of how the whole construct works. So, and I agree, Kevin Emmons, great to see you in here. Delsey entered the playoffs at 2-6 last season. They reached the sectional final. They beat Burlington Township in a game I was at, and Burlington Township had 1 game in the regular season they lost. So you never know what could happen. That's why it's the playoffs. That's why it's great. And that's why we're going to go through all of it. But congrats to Haddonfield on their big win. And again, I've seen them 3 times this year. I saw them in the opener against Glassboro. Then I saw them beat West Stefford and now Paul VI. And I got to say, I was impressed with the way they played up front. I think specifically the front 7, coordinator Mike Miller, his unit played great. And I think there's room for improvement on the execution side from offense. I don't think Coach Delano was over the top ecstatic with the way his team played. But to get to that point now and say, we got the 1 seed, everything comes through us, there's certainly a great night for the Haddons. Everyone is 0-0 right now, Chris. Thank you again for all your hard work this week. Walter Hurd is in here. Our guy Shadid is in here. Jason's in here. Everybody's in here. This is a big night for us. It's a big night for you. We're getting ready for playoff football. We're going to take a break. When we come right back, we will look at every section in public playoffs that features the South Jersey team. We're going to start with Group 1. We'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sit tight. Stay tuned. We do have a Knot of the Week, too, we're going to filter in. So we'll be back right after this with the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and has dedicated itself to helping others. The association has donated close to $100,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Capstone Medical Services, a dedicated team of experienced healthcare professionals with a strong presence at the youth, middle school, high school, collegiate, and post-collegiate levels. They specialize in athletic training services and sports medicine for youth, high school, collegiate, and adult sports, event EMT and paramedic coverage for events and gatherings of all types and sizes, ensuring everyone's safety, injury prevention and workplace injury programs for commercial and industrial organizations, American Red Cross training, ideal for coaches, youth group leaders, church organizations, businesses of all sizes, and school districts. At Capstone, they are committed to delivering exceptional medical services that exceed expectations. No team will work harder or more passionately for you or your athletes. They proudly serve athletes of all ages, schools, businesses, and event organizers, ensuring the health and safety of every individual in every setting. Whether on the field, at work, or during special events, Capstone's here to protect, support, and serve because your safety is our top priority. To learn how Capstone Medical Services can support your school, organization, or event, call 855-EVENT-CMS or visit capstonemedicalservices.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley alone. And I've had the opportunity to be around Mike Fody, the owner, and I have nothing but the best things to say about Mike and his crew. SRA is a gold accredited member of the Better Business Bureau under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up a number of Best of South Jersey awards in the past. They also contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com.
Enthusiastic about football? Become a part of the NJFOA South Football Association and team up with us to officiate high school football. Join us on the field. Our cadet class kicks off in March. Register on our website or by scanning the QR code in this ad. Put the stripes on and join us on the gridiron today.
Welcome back, New Jersey football fans, to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. It's time to look at these playoffs. Now, every team here, we're going to announce the matchup, when the game is, where it is. We're not going to be able to tell you the weather, but if you're going out Thursday, you might want to bring a slicker.
Rain's coming, Treb.
We're also going to have kind of a fun fact about each team. It's going to be good. Even some of these teams that are out of area, you're going to get to know a little bit about them. So you'll be nice and prepared for the action when the playoffs begin. So
this is the one show that gets traveled through the state. I think we got some.
Well, yeah. Our Nielsen ratings in Nottingham really go up.
Allentown, Jersey, through the roof.
Yeah, it's this is really where we make our money. Let's start in Central Jersey Group 1, Mac. What a year for Burlington City. They're 8-1. They're the 1 seed. They're hosting Bound Brook, 5-4. Friday at 5 p.m. This is at Wilbur Watts Intermediate School. For City, you got Mason Shanzy. He's throwing for almost 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns. Dante Davis has run for 1,355 on 19 touchdowns. In the past game, Javen Raspberry, 630 yards, 8 receptions for touchdown. And Mike Marsh on defense, 3 sacks, 13.5 tackles for loss, 57 total tackles. Dante Davis, a big year for him. He's the first 1,000-yard rusher for Burlington City since 2017. That was touchdown. Jimmy Brown had 2,332 yards, and that was an incredible season for Jimmy. Burlington City, Caden Booker, their only loss came to Burlington Township, who's undefeated and a top seed also in Group 3. For Bound Brook, John Archer's thrown for 829, 7 touchdowns. He's also carried it 91 times for 569 and 8 touchdowns. Jake Markey, 110 carries, 783 yards, 7 touchdowns. And Zamir Moore, in the past game, has caught 22 balls for 347 and 4 touchdowns. Bound Brook enters the playoffs on a 2-game losing skid. They've been outscored 98-10.
This is his fun fact, Rod. That's fun fact. That's not fun if you're Bound Brook.
Coming in, it's not very fun. It might not be fun playing against Burlington City, who may have just scored again against Palmyra last week. So
2-game skid.
It's a team that knows how to score and a team that has been giving up a lot of points. Burlington City hosting Bound Brook in that group. The 3 seed in this group is Riverside. They're 7-2, and they're hosting the 6 seed Point Pleasant Beach, who's 6-2. This will be Saturday at 11 a.m. Dean Potts, 58-95, 724, 6 touchdowns to 1 interception for the Rams. He's carried it 80 times for 374 and 11 touchdowns. 8 sacks, 14 tackles for loss. Dean Potts is a true great Group 1 player. He affects the game in every possible way. Also, you got our guy, T-Bird, Terrence Barnes, 133 carries, 1,145 yards, 9 touchdowns. He's also caught 19 passes. 6 of them went for score. And you got Justin Cranmer, 4 sacks, 9 tackles for loss for Rams. They're looking for their second ever playoff win. Last year was their first. Coach Bob Van Syver's done a great job with the Rams. Point Pleasant Beach, Matthew Rossi's thrown for 1,800 yards and 19 touchdowns. So they can throw the ball a little bit. Gage Boyles run for 5. Only 298 yards on the year, though. Elijah Ives, when you're looking at a receiver, 25 catches, 548, and 7 touchdowns. This is the opposite here. Point Pleasant Beach is different from Bound Brook in that they entered the playoffs on a 2-game win streak, Mac, and they're outscoring their opponents 87-37.
This cat can chuck it too. 19 TDs, 1 interception. That's an unbelievable ratio. So, we'll see.
The other 2 matchups in that bracket don't include a South Jersey team, but I'll give you the matchups. You have 5-seed Asbury at 4-seed Manville. The winner of that will play the winner of that Burlington City game. You have 7-seed New Egypt at the 2nd-seed Shore Regional. The winner of that will play the winner of the Riverside Point Pleasant Beach game.
New Egypt's almost a South team. Almost.
Yeah, New Egypt, in a very interesting area, right? They used to play in the Burlington County Conference, but they weren't in Burlington County.
Right, we used to play them.
Yeah.
We played them a couple of years.
Steve Fentz, great guy. Saw him met him a few years ago. They played Gloucester, the Warriors.
Yeah, well coached. A lot of tough kids.
Yeah, headed to Shore.
Yep.
South Jersey Group 1. Let's get into it here. You got Glassboro 9-0 hosting Audubon, the 8th seed at 2-5. This will be, I believe this is Thursday at 6 p.m. Jack O'Connell, 101 completions on 170 attempts, 1,804 yards. He's thrown for 31 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. JoJo DeLeese, 57 carries, 629, 10 touchdowns. Also caught a touchdown. Amari Saab, 33 receptions, 641 yards, 10 touchdowns. He's run for 5 touchdowns. Brandon Simmons, 13 sacks, 23 tackles for loss, 59 total tackles. And then Xavier Saab scores, in the blink of an eye at any point that he gets the ball. Glassboro rolled in the state championship last year. They enter the playoffs on a 22-game winning streak. They're the prohibitive favorite to win the Group 1 state championship. They were the prohibitive favorite to win the Group 1 state championship since the minute it ended last year, really. I mean, you looked at how many kids they had back. You assume, they lost Kenny Smith. JoJo DeLeese's in there running the ball now. Experienced team, explosive team.
Couple sabs.
Fast, physical.
Couple sabs.
Yeah.
Can play defense, can score. Really good. Not your typical Group 1 out off the bus.
Correct. Audubon, the Green Wave, you got Noah Batillo, thrown for 645 yards and 4 touchdowns. Micah Versos carried 46 times, 305 yards and a touchdown. Aaron Pilla, 20 receptions, 244 yards and a touchdown. It's a 5th straight playoff berth for Coach Reed and the Green Wave. So shout out there to Audubon. The 4th seed in that bracket is Kip Cooper Norcross Academy. They're 6-2. They won their division on Saturday, beating Bishop Eustis. They welcome Salem, who's 5-4. This will be noon on Saturday. Matt, Rod, where does Kip Cooper Norcross play? Whitman Park?
Sorry about that. Yes.
Okay. So they're hosting at noon on Saturday. Davion Ross weighs 1,000-yard passer, 8 touchdowns. He's carried it 55 times for 412 yards and 5 more touchdowns. Torrey Jones has caught 3 touchdowns. He's run for 7 more. Michael Morton, he's caught 5 touchdowns. This is the first ever playoff appearance for Kip Cooper Norcross Academy. Mac, they welcome the Rams. Coach Kemp Carr, look, first playoff appearance for Salem since 2022. Desmond Thomas, a quarterback, 946 yards passing, 9 touchdowns. He's also run for 2. Kashmir Parsley, this is a great name. 63 carries, 355, and 2 touchdowns. Caden Robinson caught 4 touchdowns. Antoine Rogers, a Temple commit. Big year for him. 11.5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, 65 total tackles. The Rams are back in the playoffs. What do you got, Ron?
Just want to make a note. That location is near, if you guys remember the old ferry station, train station. It's right near there. That's where Whitman Park plays. And big salute to James Tompkins, the head coach, one of my former players at formerly Woodrow Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
He's done an outstanding job. New program in the city, so.
Yeah, they're going to have to.
Well done.
Yeah, he's done a
third year. You're in the playoffs.
Fantastic job in the playoffs, winning the conference, beating Eustis last week. They want to throw the ball a little bit, but man, Antoine Rogers, you got to figure out where he is every play.
That's right.
Or he is a disruptor. right?
Salem's had a long history of excellent players. I think one of them right now is
Pretty good.
in lead for NFL MVP.
He just scored again.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
All those people who, never mind. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there.
He's a guy that you stood next to and gave him a hat, and it wasn't bad luck for him to stand next to you. Other folks have.
Brief aside, I got to get this one off my chest. This is the chip that's on my shoulder.
Let it off, Mark.
Go ahead, Mark. Did you go visit Brian Kelly last week?
No, I didn't. But Mac, when I saw JT play and run for 370 some yards against Woodbury in the playoffs, the Sunday edition of the newspaper back then said that he was the best high school back I'd ever seen. And for a week, I had people blowing on my phone line and email saying, well, you didn't see. Well, you didn't see. Well, you didn't see. And guess what? I don't hear from those people. I haven't heard from him since he finished third in Heisman voting as a true freshman. So any of you out there who told me who I didn't see, feel free to join the chat.
In fairness, you didn't see. So that's all you said. You said it was the best you saw.
And that's what I told them.
Now, Rod, I did see Mike Rozier. I'm just saying. Now, I mean, you could, right?
Yeah.
And
great player.
And a Walt King.
Great players.
Right. And a Dwight Hicks.
Great players.
And a Tim Loper. And Mike Loper.
Were any of them NFL MVP?
Tom McNair.
Were any of them NFL MVP?
No.
Okay. So let's see what happens at the end of the year.
Right. Hey, listen, Jonathan Taylor's.
I think he'll get Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, he's a dude. We all know that.
Well, I'm rooting for him. You know that.
No, 100%. We all
are. It's our guy.
Yeah, it's our guy. I'm just twisting. That's what the old birds are beating you up.
The white hairs. You used to call them the white hairs until you got all white up there.
The white
you used to sit up here.
No, the white heads. The white hairs. White hairs. They want to break them on you because they want their guy. But look, he's a stud.
Kevin Minnick says the best back I didn't see is Kevin Harvey, and that's true,
yeah,
Kevin.
I was going to say Kevin Harvey. Yes,
but you know what, Kevin? If I want to see Kevin Harvey, if anybody wants to see Kevin Harvey this Saturday, guess what?
You can go see him.
2-seed Paulsboro is coached by him.
Right.
They're 8-1. They're welcoming their old rival, who Kevin, of course, had some legendary tilts with. The 7-seed Woodbury, who's 3-6. That game is at noon on Saturday. The Raiders, Malachi McKenzie's done it all for him. I mean, he's got 1,200 yards passing, 11 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, 274 yards rushing, 4 more touchdowns. Kyer Harvey, 587 rushing, 6 touchdowns. And Jeremiah Carr's 3 touchdowns through the air as a receiver. They average 29.7 points per game, Paulsboro does this year. For the Herd, you got Nico Jimenez, 1,100 yards passing, 8 touchdowns. You got to watch the turnovers. He's had 11 interceptions, but, it's a rivalry game. You never know what could happen. Dale Thomas has run for 7 touchdowns, and Elijah Young has caught 6 touchdowns. The lowest seed they've been, Woodbury, since Anthony Reagan took over there at his alma mater. Elsewhere in that bracket, the other game, Pennsville, the 3 seed at 5-4, hosts Shalleck, the 6 seed, 3-6. This game is at 7 p.m. on Friday. Always a great game to see. Always a great place to see a game, Pennsville. Robbie McDade, look, man, him and Rylan Hardy. McDade, 6 touchdowns through the air, 8 through the ground at quarterback. Rylan Hardy, 130 carries, 889 yards, 12 touchdowns. Perry Moranti, 2 touchdowns receiving, but also has 2 interceptions. One of them he ran back for a touchdown. Pennsville enters the playoffs on a 2-game win streak. They're outscoring opponents in that span, 80-21. A lot of points there for the Eagles. The Cougars, Kenneth Bartee, look, 86 carries, 503, 7 touchdowns. David Stewart has a few touchdowns. He also caught one. Dezion Purnell, 3.5 sacks, 80 total tackles. Had a great year defensively. Coach Kevin Leamy, it is his first playoff appearance as former coach Mike Wilson moved on to Clearview in the offseason. So Coach Leamy took over, and Shalleck is back in the playoffs, Mac.
Yep. It's interesting. These early seeds, you always kind of look at some situations where someone might make something happen. You never know. And the 4-5s, 3-6s are, I hate to say the 1-8s. There's a couple 1-8s we'll get to that are interesting down the road, but lot of football going on. That's for darn sure.
A lot of football, Mac. And, for fans in South Jersey, if you want to see 3 games, it's very doable because you're going Thursday, Friday, Saturday. A lot of games spread out. I don't remember.
You might see 2 on Saturday, too. Possibly.
Yeah, it just depends on how you
Right, yeah, that Group 1, I think they start at 9 a.m. somewhere.
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
You might be right.
Somebody.
Central Jersey Group 2. Let's pivot to Group 2. As I mentioned, you have Camden as the top seed in Central. They finished second in the bottom half of the state, or Central to South, whatever you want to call it, those 16 teams.
South 2 is Rod likes to call it. South 1 and South 2.
Well, Camden had a bye last week, so they couldn't move up or down. Haddonfield beat Paul to 6. Haddonfield ends up the 1 seed, so they stay in the South. Camden goes to the Central. Camden's 6-2 on the year. They're hosting Voorhees, who's 8-1, Friday at 6 p.m. at Farnham Park. Ahmad Jones, since he's come on the scene, he's played well for Camden, 637 yards passing. Christian Braxton, great running back. He's got 99 carries for 552 and 4 touchdowns. Roman Duckett, 53 carries, 5 touchdowns. And Ibn Muhammad, the Muhammad clan on this team, 3 of them, they all do a little bit of everything, especially defensively, but Ibn offensively, 27 receptions, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. Camden High, big year. They're coming. They had the bye last week, 2-game win streak before that, outscoring opponents 60-14. We mentioned earlier in the season they lost to Shawnee on a game that they probably feel like they should have won. The other loss was to Winslow. Nothing to hang their head about right there. I would say this. I would go as far as to say this, and I'll let the Camden High alum over here in the corner correct me if I'm wrong. But I would say that it's state championship or bust for Camden High. Would you agree with that? At least appearance? Had a couple state semifinal appearances here. And I think when you look at Group 2 overall,
Or bust, he says.
I think Coach Henson would say I expect this team, we're very good, and I think this team can make the state finals, and if not win it.
I think for sure that's the mindset.
Yeah.
They've been there. Time to kind of
Breakthrough.
cross the.
Yeah,
hump,
look, for a high school to say states are bust for a team that's a tough moniker to hang on. And then that's as our boy Nick Saban would say, that's the rat poison that they don't need to be looking 3-4 games ahead. Take care of, enjoy this game, play Voorhees as you say here. Who's an 8-1 football team too. They're not playing the schedule Camden is, but they still got 8 wins under their belt.
I think their mindset is to, like Coach said, take it one game at a time, and to win the games that you're supposed to win, especially in the playoffs. If you're at home, you're welcoming people in, they're traveling. You can't slip up and make the mistakes that you've made before. That's kind of like getting to that. And if you take care of that, it's going to lead you to where you want to go. So I don't know if it's a bust, but I know for sure the anticipation of them making a state championship is very high in the city of Camden. Everybody's kind of looking forward to that time.
To get this, you get 4 wins though. That's
right.
4 wins. That's a month. That's a month
it's
away.
Tough. Yeah.
It's 4 wins away to get to the state.
It's not easy to do, and I'm certainly not going to say they should look ahead. But to Rod's point, if you beat the teams you should, when I look at the bracket, I see them as the top team, and I would expect that they
let's say
the
city has expectations.
Then they're the number 1 seed for a reason.
I would say the city has expectations. I would hope Coach Henson, he's been there, done that. He understands what that means. He's had high expectations on his prior teams where he was in the past.
Yeah.
Supposed to do this, that, and the other. Sometimes he's done it. They've done it. Sometimes they didn't. A lot. That's as my dad used to say. That's the ball shaped a funny way. And that's why it bounces funny too. So.
Yeah, like I said, it's just correct the mistakes, that they've had over the last couple of years, with Delsey, and then I believe it was Point Pleasant Borough. Coming down the stretch, those games, people felt like they should have won. So if you just clean that part of it up, I think they'll be fine.
They're playing Voorhees. This is a team that's 8-1. You got Sam Meekings at quarterbacks, throwing for 1,500 yards, 19 touchdowns. Mateo Tremutola, 193 carries, 1,338 and 17 touchdowns. Rylan Benitez at receiver, 775 and 11 touchdowns. So this is a team that can put up some major points in their 8 wins this season. Madden Kramer, 5 sacks, 13.5 tackles for loss. This is like, Voorhees, they're the Vikings. And we have Eastern that's in Voorhees, and they're the Vikings, but not the same.
Not
right?
one of the same.
Not the same.
Not very different. They enter the playoffs on a 5-game win streak. Their only loss was to Bernards, who's undefeated. So there you go. The 7th seed in that bracket is Bordentown at 7-1. They head to Wall, who is the 2 seed at 6-2. That is Friday at 7 p.m. The Crimson Knights, 923 yards passing from Brian McKenna and 8 touchdowns. They love to run the ball, though. You got Dylan Cohen, 822 yards, 11 touchdowns. Justin Davis defensively, 12 sacks, 79 total tackles, a force up front. They lost their first 2 games of the season. They've won every game since then. The Scotties, Trey Lee at quarterbacks, thrown for a few touchdowns. Jose Santiago's run for 738 and 7 touchdowns. Khalil Bangura, here's a guy who's done a little bit of everything. 15 receptions, 206 yards, a few touchdowns, but 4 interceptions he's had, and he's returned 1 for a touchdown. Connor Bramley's also caught 5 touchdowns. The Scotties are back in the playoffs for the first time since 2014. The other 2 matchups of the bracket do not feature a South Jersey team. That would be Rums and Fairhaven, the 3 seed, hosting the 6 seed Point Pleasant Borough. This is a rematch of the state semifinal last year. Rums and Fairhaven won that game and won the state championship against Shabazz. The 5 seed Johnson heads to the 4 seed Manasquan. So the winner of Johnson Manasquan would play the winner of Camden and Voorhees. And Point Pleasant Borough, Rums, and Fairhaven, the winner of that would play either Bordentown or Wall. South Jersey Group 2, Matt. We just talked about Haddonfield. They're 6-2, and they're hosting Willingboro at 4-5 at 7 p.m. on Friday. Now, this is a rematch of a win on September the 12th. Haddonfield took a 39-8 over Willingboro. This is a much different Willingboro team, though, right now. I will say Haddonfield enters on a 3-game win streak. I like what they do defensively. Logan Ray up front, he got the hat on Friday. I mean, the guy was an absolute terrorist in the backfield. They do a lot of great things defensively. Offensively, like I said, LaFacas can throw it. You get the Keenans. They're in the mix. McKeever at tight end. Very versatile player. Brody Leonard, also a guy who is a half-brother of the Foley brothers. So he brings it. And here's a kid who really, he's about as good as it gets in terms of just like that prototypical, I hate to say it, but that Haddonfield back, right? That gritty guy. He might not hit the home run all the time, but he's the guy. Ball security, tough yards. You're going to get that.
Well, you're going to get that in the whole Haddonfield team, man.
You really are.
They're well coached. The defense is lights out. They line up. They I hate to say it, they got their gaps covered. You're not going to catch them in something where they're going to be out of position. They rally to the ball. They make tackles. They block well. They're a really good football team, and Delano's done an unbelievable job there for a really long time. And you get it's a strong community. It gets everybody's got buy-in, and the kids show up and work hard. And Haddonfield's one of those that they expect to win a sectional. They expect to get in that South Jersey, which is the semifinal game, the South Jersey final game, and play for a state. So a lot of different things, a lot of different weapons they go by.
When you look at Willingboro, you got James Pemberton at quarterback, Mackay Cottle, Brock Ferguson. These guys offensively, Willingboro's found a rhythm recently. I know they lost that game to Seneca last week, but they had some impressive results before that. They had a 3-game losing streak earlier in the season. They also had a 3-game win streak later in the season. They're a team that's probably playing their better football right now. So we'll see what happens as they head to the top seed, Haddonfield, Friday night. At noon on Saturday, Lower Cape May at 7-2 is going to host Gloucester at 4-4. Lower Cape May comes in as the 4 seed. Gloucester's the 5. The Caper Tigers, David Douglas is accounted for 4 touchdowns through the air. He's run for 9. Ryan Mallins run for 10, also caught 1. Jonathan Fernandez run for 4, also caught 1. And Jonathan Dupree, 9.5 sacks on defense. First playoff berth under first-year coach Billy DeMania for the Caper Tigers. They have one of the best nicknames, of course, around. The Lions of Gloucester, Ibby Hudwell, 937 yards rushing this year, 8 touchdowns. Kevin Bolden does it. He runs it. He passes it at quarterback. And Harry Ulmer defensively. This kid, 3 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, 102 total tackles. Lions come in, they've lost 3 of their last 4, and they got to go down to Lower Cape May. But an interesting matchup here Saturday at noon, Mac.
Yeah, this is when we talk about the 4 versus 5. It's a real question of is coach with the first playoff berth under him. Are they playoff football is different, right? I mean, you got to be. It's a different vibe. It's a different atmosphere. So getting a host, it's nice to be at home.
Yeah.
But again, these 4-5s, you gotta. They're always interesting.
The bottom of this bracket really has some interesting matchups. But if things were to play out as seeded, I think you'd have a very interesting semifinal game here, where you have the 3 seed is Delran. They're 8-1. They're hosting 6-seeded Overbrook Saturday at noon. Overbrook 6-3. Vinny Sack at 1,200 yards passing, 14 touchdowns. Also run for 509. Nick Peen, 8 rushing touchdowns. Justin Mary, 7 receptions for a score. Jack Jordan does a little bit of everything. He's caught 3 touchdowns. He has 6 sacks, 24 tackles for loss, 93 total tackles. Great player, great all-around athlete. I think he's a 3-sport kid. Excellent basketball player. Delran has won 4 straight since their loss to Burlington Township, which was one of our games of the week. Outscoring opponents 170-28 in that span.
Huge playing defense. I mean, 170 is nice too, but it's good bounce back.
28 points in 4 games. I mean, that's 7 a game.
Well, that's good. That's good division. You didn't even have a remainder.
I know.
It's a good job. I'm an English guy.
The Rams, we've talked about Axel Bailey. Look at what he's done this year. 131 carries, 1,200 rushing yards, 16 touchdowns. A.J. Powell's caught a pair of scores. Tariq Moore at quarterback's thrown 6 and also run for 7. This is their first playoff appearance since 2022. And yes, Walter and Kevin, I do want to mention, good point here, Gloucester and Lower Cape May is an interesting matchup. Gloucester beat Lower Cape May by 3 touchdowns on the road earlier this season. So even though they come in losing 3 or 4, they did beat Lower Cape May earlier, and maybe that gives them an edge. But maybe the Caper Tigers are up to the challenge this time around. The second seed here, West Defford at 8-1. They're hosting Camden Eastside at 3-5. This is Saturday at noon. You got Brady Cobbs throwing for 754 yards and 10 touchdowns. But Zamir Davis and Cole Paskowitz, these are the guys really to watch. Paskowitz, 862 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns. He's caught 4 touchdowns. Zamir Davis has caught a touchdown, has 10 rushing touchdowns. Also, 974 yards on the ground. West Defford wants to run the ball. They got Al Dariel on defensive line, 12 sacks, 61 total tackles. So ever since they lost to Haddonfield, they've won 3 in a row, outscoring opponents 60-13 in those games. And the Tigers, it's been a rough year for the Tigers, but Elijah Satchel, great player, 6 sacks, 15 tackles for loss, 60 total tackles. But their schedule's been tough. I mean, we said in the beginning, somebody said, how can a 3-7, how can these teams with 3 wins, 2 wins get in the playoffs? Well, Camden Eastside's in Group 2 for years. They were Group 3. They played 1 Group 2 school. They played 1 Group 3 school. They played 3 Group 5 schools and 3 Group 4 schools. They're on a 4-game losing skid, but I mean, when you look at their schedule,
right,
they certainly get it honest.
Right, and they're playing. I mean, look, I saw them against Shawnee.
Yeah.
A couple of breaks. Some things happened early where Shawnee capitalized on some special teams blunders that we talked about a couple weeks ago. But West Defford can't be just looking at a 7 seed and saying, "Hey, 2 versus 7, it's a mail-in." Camden Eastside got some players. They can score.
Both those games are intriguing. If the seeds were to hold, which again, I'm not slighting Camden Eastside, Coach Brown and company, they could pull an upset. Same with Overbrook with our guy Axel Bailey. But Delran West Defford be that. We'll see where things stand next week, but that would be I think that'd be a fun matchup. What do you got, bro?
Like you said, that one's a tough one to kind of gauge. But I had the same thought as you, Coach. Seeing Eastside earlier, some of the teams that they played were a little bit bigger up front.
Sure.
This game will be a little more manageable up front for them.
No doubt.
West Defford has a really good offensive line, but I just think, coming down in group and not playing a Group 5 school, it's going to maybe even some things. I wouldn't be shocked if they pulled it off.
Right. I mean, if they clean up some mistakes they've had, and they're not going to be, not that they're ever intimidated, but you're not going to lose the eye test from the outside, right? I mean, well, as you said, West Efford's they got a good offensive line, defensive line, but Camden Eastside has seen some teams that have some size, some dudes, a lot of bodies in the school, so which produces a lot of bodies on the field.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting, as it always is.
Quick update, real quick on the KIP game. They don't have a location as of right now. They're going to keep us updated, and we'll be able to post their playing location.
All right. Well, they're going to have to play somewhere. I do know that. So we'll see. I think we're going to get to our nod of the week, and then we're going to take a break, as I need to maybe take a sip of water here. And
it's playoff time.
It's been a lot of action. I don't know if I'm in playoff shape. I'm hoping I'm a 1 seed, and I got a cupcake coming in for this first game. But let's show our nod of the week. All right, here we go. This was the opening kickoff the other night. Mike Keenan gets in there. Hit. Ball. Joey Testa. Scoop. Score.
Wow.
Nod of the week. 10 seconds into the game, 7-0. Haddonfield.
Yeah, that's a good way to start.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out too. I know we didn't have our ad in there, but give me 1 second. I do want to shout out our sponsor for Knots of the Week. There is no better location than the football field. But for all other real estate needs, contact Ashley Franchini. I know Ashley and her family are truly getting ready for this big matchup, the rivalry matchup, the playoff matchup, Mainland with Johnny Franchini playing against Ocean City. We're going to touch on that after this segment. But do not make a mistake when you're looking for real estate. You get that, Mac? Do not make a mistake.
I get it.
Do not do it. Reach out to Ashley at 609-233-6116. Thank you, Ashley, for your sponsorship all season of our Knots of the Week. With that, Mac, we're going to come back and talk Group 3, Group 4. The final segment, we're going to talk Group 5, your favorite.
Yeah. Ran into Matt Flynn this past week.
Oh, yeah?
Legendary.
Former LSU quarterback?
No, former Mainland quarterback, 2006.
You didn't think I pulled that?
Pretty good.
Won national championship.
Yeah, yes, he did.
Unlike Brian Kelly.
Nope.
We will be back right after this at the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and has dedicated itself to helping others. The association has donated close to $100,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Capstone Medical Services, a dedicated team of experienced healthcare professionals with a strong presence at the youth, middle school, high school, collegiate, and post-collegiate levels. They specialize in athletic training services and sports medicine for youth, high school, collegiate, and adult sports, event EMT and paramedic coverage for events and gatherings of all types and sizes, ensuring everyone's safety, injury prevention and workplace injury programs for commercial and industrial organizations, American Red Cross training, ideal for coaches, youth group leaders, church organizations, businesses of all sizes, and school districts. At Capstone, they are committed to delivering exceptional medical services that exceed expectations. No team will work harder or more passionately for you or your athletes. They proudly serve athletes of all ages, schools, businesses, and event organizers, ensuring the health and safety of every individual in every setting. Whether on the field, at work, or during special events, Capstone's here to protect, support, and serve because your safety is our top priority. To learn how Capstone Medical Services can support your school, organization, or event, call 855-EVENT-CMS or visit capstonemedicalservices.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley alone. And I've had the opportunity to be around Mike Fody, the owner, and I have nothing but the best things to say about Mike and his crew. SRA is a gold-accredited member of the Better Business Bureau under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up a number of Best of South Jersey awards in the past. They also contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com.
Enthusiastic about football? Become a part of the NJFOA South Football Association and team up with us to officiate high school football. Join us on the field. Our cadet class kicks off in March. Register on our website or by scanning the QR code in this ad. Put the stripes on and join us on the gridiron today.
We're back at the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show playoff preview extravaganza. We put as many words as we can in there.
Make it longer.
Part 1. Central Jersey Group 3. Homedale's the 1 seed. They're 6-2 out of the Shore Conference. They host Cinnaminson, the 8 seed, 4-5. This is Friday at 7 p.m. I think Cinnaminson's coach was in that 8mm film we watched, right?
Not Mara.
Oh, wasn't there?
Mike.
Was it Mike? His
No,
brother?
Mike was not in it either. I'm
Okay.
old. I am.
You're too old.
I'm too old for them.
And when you look at the Hornets, Jack Cannon at quarterback, this kid, we talked about him last year too, 111 of 152 for 1,850 yards, 17 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 145 carries, 1,164 yards, and 23 touchdowns. 40 total touchdowns to just 4 interceptions. And one of the best names for a quarterback you're ever going to hear, Jack Cannon. Homedale, I mean, they got some things going. He is certainly the heart of them. There are only 2 losses this year to Red Bank Catholic and Brick Memorial, who are both ranked in the state. For the Pirates, Dom DeGrippo has been great for him, 105 carries, 496 yards, 7 touchdowns. Also caught 2 touchdowns. Maddox Scott at quarterback has thrown 3 touchdowns. It's going to take a big effort for Cinnaminson. But, you know, on the bright side, looking at it, they've won every game after they lost the last one. And their last game was a loss to Burlington Township, 21-0, where they're hanging in there right in there at halftime into the second half, and the Falcons are unbeaten. So we'll see what happens there. But Homedale, it'll be a tall task and be a long ride. I thought this was supposed to fix all the travel, but I guess not. Cinnaminson heads to top seed at Homedale. The 3 seed, Seneca, we mentioned they shared that West Jersey Football League Continental Division title with Haddonfield, beating Willingboro last week. Seneca did. They welcome 6 seed Ewing, 7-2, Friday at 6 p.m. Anthony Tirico, the guy who does it all for them at quarterback, 1,260 yards passing, 14 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions. He's run 130 times for 1,080 yards and 11 touchdowns. Brody Phillips, 515 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. Christian Alexander on defense, 5 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 48 total tackles. Tirico's thrown for over 1,000 yards every year as a quarterback at Seneca. I think this is his 3rd year, right? He's a junior. Is that right? He's a senior, Tirico.
I thought he was a senior. But
Okay.
Kevin Minnick will tell us.
Yeah, Kevin. One of the Kevins, Emmons or Minnick, will put out the Kevin spotlight.
One of the Kevins.
Yeah, Kevin and Kevin. The Blue Devils, Ryan Gregg, 1,521 passing yards, 17 touchdowns. Josh Missick has run for 1,007 yards and 8 touchdowns. Bryce Brown with 4 sacks for the Blue Devils of Ewing. Fun fact about Ewing, Well, they won the West Jersey Football League Valley Division. They are in the West Jersey Football League. But Bud Kowal, who was the first president of the West Jersey Football League, was the athletic director at Ewing.
For years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the West Jersey Football League and all it's done for the betterment of football in South Jersey, which I think it has done just that. It was Ewing who...
And interestingly enough, I think Bud's roots are in the baseball world.
Really?
I think a little bit. I think he's got, I could be wrong. Again, Kevin
Evans, Anthony Tirico is a junior. I knew that.
Did you, though? You had to refer.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Need a fact checker.
Kind of thought.
The 5 seed is Neptune in this bracket. They head to Hopewell Valley. The 4 seed. The 7 seed is Matawan. They head to the 2nd seed, Somerville. That is Central Jersey Group 3. Let's talk South Jersey Group 3. I think this is maybe the most wide open group or the group where you can see the most chaos. The number 1 seed, Burlington Township, undefeated. They host Timber Creek, the 8 seed, who's 2-7. This is Friday at 5 p.m. Eddie McNair, the freshman, he's played well for them. 771 yards passing, 8 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions. But Aiden Binns really is the bell cow. 179 carries, 1,500 yards, 17 touchdowns. Great player. They have a great defense. Wimberly is great. They got a number of guys who just attack the ball, find the ball, see ball, hit ball, do a great job. Gerald Sackey also receiving 35 receptions, but 12 of them went for touchdowns. Binns set the single-season rushing record for the Falcons program with 1,499 yards. I said 1,500. I was off by 1.
Well, when you have that type of running game, they're going to get those 35 receptions for 12 TDs because
play action. Go under center, just like WIPO the last 2 weeks.
They have a really good freshman receiver as well, Burlington Township.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah,
really good.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent player.
Yes.
Great season for Burlington Township. You look at who they're playing in Timber Creek, not a year that's been up to their standards. But Tyrone Baker, quarterback, 514 passing yards. Got Zaire Green's run for 6 touchdowns and caught a couple. And James Redd has 4 receiving touchdowns. Brody Conway on defense, 5 tackles for loss, 106 total tackles. It hasn't been since 2021 where Timber Creek's had a record like this. And they're in the playoffs. They're headed to Burlington Township. Everyone is 0-0 at this point. I teased it before the break and talking about our Knots of the Week and our sponsor at Ashley Franchini. Mainland, the 4 seed at 5-4, is hosting Ocean City, the 5 seed, at 5-4. Saturday at 11 a.m.
Isn't that funny how that works out? Right?
It really is.
They do the bridge again?
That's a good question. I would think they have to.
Higher stakes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think you do it. You got to do the bridge.
I would think you have to. This is Saturday, 11 a.m. We mentioned Franchini, 1,000 yards passing again, 13 touchdowns. Also run 83 times, 503 yards, 4 touchdowns. Lucas DiBiaso's run for 3 touchdowns. Jake Blum's caught 4 touchdowns. Andrew Gilman's caught 3 touchdowns. The first Battle of the Bridge matchup since 2021 in the playoffs. Ocean City won that one 41-7. Mainland took the first matchup of the season 20-7. They've only allowed 7 points over a 3-year win streak against the Raiders. The Raiders had a magical overtime win last week against Cedar Creek in a big upset to basically clinch. They weren't watching Selection Sunday, basically, all those familiar with March Madness. Jackson Becker at quarterback, 871 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's run for 6. Tristan Schmidt, great running back, 137 carries, 689 yards, 6 touchdowns. Defense, Coach Matthews, his first year. This is where he hangs his hat, former defensive coordinator, right? Jake Chapman leads the effort, 9 sacks, 15 tackles for loss, 70 total tackles. First time on the road in the first round for the Raiders since 2023. Matt Almer says, sorry, the state won't let us change the lights on the bridge. Well, that's lame. It was fun while it lasted, he says. Yeah, it was.
What do you mean?
The state won't let them.
What are you talking about?
I don't know, but next year, I'm sure we're going to say they still change the.
We got you.
We'll forget this, but luckily Matt watches. Matt is one of our biggest fans. He always watches. Sometimes Matt is in like
Well, let's get some
a
flags.
beautiful place in Florida, and he says, "I'm down here in Florida watching." I'm like, "Man, go out, enjoy yourself." No, he's locked in, watching on the big screen. He's watching the South Jersey football.
Yeah, but he's probably in the lanai with the weather. He's not inside. He's outside watching.
He lives a good life, Matt Ulmer.
Yeah. Well,
Good
Matt,
supporter of the show.
Yeah, Matt. Let's raise some flags then.
Let's get these lights going.
Maybe
Matt.
not the lights. We'll do the flags over there.
We got to a state championship in football, and I want to think it was because of the noise people were producing. So let's create some more noise and get the lights on the bridge back. Come on. We can do it. So that's an interesting matchup. You got that rivalry, 5-4, familiarity. Then you got 3-6, two teams here where, depending on when you see them or who they're playing, you could see a lot of different versions of them. You got Pleasantville's the 3 seed at 6-3. They're hosting Delsey, who's the 6 seed at 4-5. This is Thursday at 6 p.m. Samaj Dozier, quarterback, defensive back. Takisi Barnes, running back, defensive back. Jamad Washington, running back. We got a Torre, of course. The Torres are incredible football players. He's at edge and wide receiver. Henry Fermin, defensive line, wide receiver. It's the first time in the modern era, really, that Pleasantville's been the Group 3 playoffs. They've been Group 2 for so long. Shout out to Elijah Glover for his work at coach this year to get the Greyhounds. He came on the scene as the head coach late in the offseason. They've done an excellent job. Had a big win over Gloucester last Friday. The Crusaders, Milo Gebhardt, thrown 4 touchdowns, but has run for 8. Adrian Shepard run for a touchdown. And Mayor Chester has run for 2. And Luke Van Auken, 6.5 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 37 total tackles, committed to play at UConn. First time Delsey has gone back-to-back, opening the playoffs on the road. They opened on the road last year, too, of course. Another good matchup here, right? 6-3, Delsey, Pleasantville.
Right. And, again, Pleasantville's like, oh, great. 3 seed. We got to face Delsey. I know we've talked about it. Delsey's not the Delsey of a couple years back, but there's still, you grow up in that town, you're playing in the playoffs, you're probably getting there. You truly understand that it's not about the current record. It's about what do we do going forward. And they got some guys to make some things happen. That's for sure. I mean, whenever you got a guy like Van Auken, it can cause a lot of problems. It can cause a lot of problems.
The 2 seed in this bracket is Cedar Creek at 7-2. They host Triton, 7 seed at 7-2. This is Thursday night at 6 p.m. Freshman Bethea has thrown for 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. He's run for 2. Amir Dunbar, one of South Jersey's best backs, 174 carries, 1,491 yards, 18 touchdowns. Camp Fields caught 6 touchdowns and run for 5 more. And Guyan King, 4 touchdowns receiving. They beat Triton in the first round last year, 39-14. This Cedar Creek team has quite an impressive resume, but they had that disappointing loss last week to Ocean City. A loss not many saw coming. Big win for the Raiders, puts them in this bracket. Cedar Creek, I'm sure, was aching to play after that loss. They want to get back on the field. For the Mustangs of Triton, Jake Mannion at quarterback's thrown for 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. John Pettigrew, 9 touchdowns on the ground. Jalen Moore, 6 touchdowns. And Jaden Moore, I would say Jaden Moore is he's an excellent, excellent player for Triton. 8.5 sacks, 74 total tackles, 19 for loss. The Stangs are seeking their first playoff win since 2011, Mac.
It's a long time. Yeah.
Was it Pete Getz days?
I think we go 11. Yes.
Pete, hope you're watching, man. Hope all's well.
I think we're in the Pete Getz world. We're past the Vespi world into Getz.
The Getz era.
And in saying that, Cedar Creek, we were talking, last week, Ocean City, I know they're I don't want to take anything away from them, but I thought on paper we thought Creek would handle them. And is it a look ahead? Creek looking ahead at playoff time. Ocean City at that point needed it, wanted it more. We'll see. What I would think Cedar Creek has an opportunity to clean some things up and set the set their path straight. But that's why you play them.
Last playoff win, it was Coach Getz at Southern, 26-7.
There you go.
November the 11th, 2011.
Wow.
It was 11-11-11.
Mm.
And then they lost to Pennsauken the next week, 52-16. So, Triton seeks that win. Central Jersey Group 4.
You thought you'd get a little better reaction out of me the Pete Getz win on 11-11-11 on the numerology.
No expectations. But going back and looking at that bracket, Mainland, Ocean City, Pleasantville, Delsea, Berlin Township, Cedar Creek. That's an interesting one. A lot of...
Throw them in.
You get out of that first round and you're thinking...
Stir it.
Styles make fights who,
All reality, anybody can win in that bracket.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah.
based on a season that,
We
we've
thought
seen.
Group 3 would be open from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of sat here and said that back and when it was a little bit warmer out.
Yeah.
And I
It's
think
wide open.
that's...
It's wide open.
Yeah.
You only have to win one game at a time, right? So it's a new season.
Exactly.
Nobody's dominant. There's nobody you're like, wow, they're the guy.
The only one you could really say is Burlington Township. But again, when you start getting into group play, you take into account some of the other teams that they were playing lower group. So now that they're playing in group, it's going to be interesting,
I agree. Central Jersey Group 4 will not be as interesting for South Jersey fans. It has no South Jersey teams in it. But I'm going to give you the bracket just because, that's the type of program we run here. The 1 seed is Brick. They're hosting the 8 seed Marlboro. 5th seed Steiner heads to the 4th seed Red Bank. The Middletown battle here, 3 and 6. Middletown North is the 3 seed. They host Middletown South, who's the 6 seed. And the 2nd seed, Manalapan, hosts 7 seed Hamilton West. So that is the only bracket of the 10 that features no South Jersey schools. And that would be Central Jersey Group 4.
Like a true, almost like an old school, like it used to be.
Right. All games are Friday in South Jersey Group 4. So you got Winslow is 7-2.
That's not true.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. All the games are Friday in that Central Group 4 bracket. Sorry.
Because I got a game to do.
I know. South Group 4. Winslow, Cumberland. Winslow 7-2. Cumberland 6-3. Winslow, you know all about him. Jalen Parker, 2,000 yards passing, 27 touchdowns. Boomer Helton just decommitted from Boston College, reopened his commitment. I saw him with Bill Belichick in North Carolina last week. I mean, I guess Bill said, listen, man, maybe you better consider Chapel Hill and get away from Chestnut Hill, right? Different C Hill.
Different hills.
766 yards for Boomer receiving, 10 touchdowns. Quade Hendricks, 478 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns. Rob Kastarfin, 10 sacks, 13 tackles for loss, 54 total tackles. Winslow's seeking to become the 2nd public school to repeat as state champs. Or 3rd, I'm sorry. Old Tappan did it, I believe. Oh, no, they didn't. Old Tappan didn't do it. No, that's right. Winslow will be the 2nd behind Toms River North. If they do it. They won it last year going away. For Cumberland, you got Josh Davis, 898 yards passing, 7 touchdowns. R.J. Pierce, 762 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns. He's caught 2. Chris Clark on defense, 11 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, 40 total tackles, and forced 3 fumbles. Shout out to Jason Coombs and Cumberland. It's the 4th time they made the playoffs ever, and their first playoff berth since 2014. So big shout out to Cumberland. They head to Winslow. I believe that game is that game Saturday, Rod? You know?
I don't know.
Help us out in here. The game Mac was talking about, Shawnee and Pennsauken, the 4-5 is Thursday at 6 p.m. You got Shawnee 6-3, Sauken 7-2. 3-headed monster for Shawnee running the ball. Anderson, 934 yards, 14 touchdowns. Lundberg, 397 yards, 3 touchdowns. Came back in the middle of the season. Nichols, 504 yards, 6 touchdowns. Michael Bartasius, 5 interceptions. He ran a couple of those back for touchdowns.
I think he's got a couple fumble recoveries too. To your point, three-headed monster, right? It seems like Nichols, every time he touches the ball, he goes 40, 50 yards, whether it be his all-purpose yards are through the roof with his kick returns, his punt returns. A little dash of Lundberg left, Lundberg right, Nichols bang.
Yep.
A little thunder lightning action. Cole, Anderson running the football. Defense playing well. Michael Bartasius and Joey Cleaver heading up that defense. And again, as always, we talk about the line. Johnny Mosier up front, been stalwart all year for them. So just again, it's interesting. It's a rematch, right?
Yeah.
But they beat Shawnee beat Pennsauken at Pennsauken a couple weeks back, not long ago, and now they're hosting on tomorrow, 6:00.
They beat Saucon 36-14. I believe that was the week after that tough Cherokee loss, and that started a 3-game win streak to close the season for Shawnee. For Pennsauken, you got Nazir Negron, 542 yards passing, 6 touchdowns. But R.J. Blunt, 807 yards rushing, 9 touchdowns, can also catch it. For Saucon, it's their 3rd straight year going on the road in the first round. So you get a rematch. The first score, as I said, it was 36-14. Shawnee took care of business. And if you're Saucon, I mean, you got one job this week in practice, and that's we got to stop the run.
Well, correct. And, that's easier said than done.
Correct.
When Shawnee's doing it as efficiently as they are.
Yep.
And then on the flip side, hey, Shawnee's got to tackle Mr. Blunt. I mean, he's supposed to be some weather tomorrow, those type of games.
Yeah. Both
teams have to pound and grind it out. I mean, he's a very formidable back himself. Very good.
The 3 seed in that bracket is Central Regional. They're 8-1. They host Northern Burlington, who's the 6th seed at 6-3. Central Regional, you got Jacob Haplane at quarterback, 1,200-yard passer, 8 touchdowns. Elijah Reeder defensively, 5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, 45 total tackles. Austin Jarvis runs it. C.J. Yates and J.J. Tuhig catch it and run it. That's the offense for Central Regional. They're entering the playoffs on a 6-game win streak. They're outscoring their opponents in that streak 181-53. Their only loss was to Southern, who had a pretty darn good season as well in Group 5. For the Greyhounds, Brent Wallach at quarterback, 1,200-yard passer, 12 touchdowns. Also ran for 635 and 12 touchdowns. Josh Melton defensively and Mark Klussman defensively. Klussman, 16 tackles for loss. Melton, 4 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, 22 total tackles. Northern Burlington seeking its first playoff win since 2013. They'll have to get through a tough Central team to do it. The 2 seed Millville at 4-4 hosts the 7 seed Toms River East at 5-4. Millville with a huge win last week, beating St. Augustine in overtime 28-21. A young team, we mentioned it in the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, a team that you see them kind of growing, maturing. Losses to good teams in Atlantic City, Rancocas Valley, in the opener when everyone was healthy for Rancocas Valley. Also Winslow and Washington Township. So nothing to hang their head about there. But a 3-game win streak, things feel pretty good down at Wheaton Field. They're the 2 seed with Toms River East coming in. Robbie O'Connor, 1,300-yard passer, 11 touchdowns for the Bolts. Aiden Dawkins has run for 503 and 3 touchdowns. Reggie Holly, this is a guy who does a little bit of everything. 48 carries, 335, 7 touchdowns, 42 receptions, 757, 6 touchdowns. And Jaden Jones defensively, one of their better defensive linemen in the last couple of years. 5 sacks, 4 tackles for loss. Since 2021, Millville was 6-0 against the Shore Conference in the playoffs. For Toms River East, you got Braden Flanagan at quarterback. You got Brandon Seibert at running back. He's run for 371 and 4 scores. And Seamus O'Grady, 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss defensively. The Raiders have only scored more than 22 points once this season, a 40-8 win over Lakewood. So like we mentioned in the beginning of the show, Millville, a team that didn't have the season it expected to have, but is here now hitting the reset button.
But again, we
In the
talked about
playoffs.
there's no such thing as a good loss, but they got a monster schedule. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at Millville's losses, right? I mean, Rod, we got Winslow, Washington Township,
RVAC.
RVAC,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and they're a young team, and Tom's River East only scoring over 22 points once this season. They're gonna have to score 22 twice in a game to hang with Millville, I think.
Well, I think you look at not just the tough losses, but you look at what's happened since those in this 3-game win streak. You got a Delsey team that's been playing better ball. You go on the road and beat them 22-0. You get Cherokee, you beat them 55-28.
And then
you beat St. Augustine at home
they're
in overtime. So 3 wins to feel good about for Millville, putting the potential together. Holly, O'Connor, defense is going to show up.
You're a 1-4 football team, and then you show up and start doing some things, and now you're like those 3 out of the 4 losses and don't even matter, don't even count, considering how young a team they are. Those kids were just getting used to like figuring out what game day was.
Yeah, I think for the most part they flipped a coin, right?
Yeah.
They started out the season. Everybody knows the last couple of years, you've had LaQuint Allen, you've had some dogs, you had Latsier Brooks, you had some guys who can just kind of bail you out when you needed it, right?
Sunday guys. Not just Saturday guys.
Yeah.
Sunday guys.
Yeah, they had those type of guys.
Sunday.
Yeah.
True.
So coming into this season, they lost one of their star players to return in Collins this year.
Marty, yeah.
So they had to rethink how they were going to play. And it seems like they kind of figured it out. Holly is kind of the one that gets that engine going. Yeah. We saw it against RV when they played RV. Once they put him in that quarterback, they did like some Wildcat stuff. And you just saw he's the best player. We got to get him the ball.
Sure.
So they were able to, figure some things out. And here going into the playoffs, listen, I wouldn't be shocked if Millville was to come out of this thing.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, you got Winslow in the bracket, which is very difficult. But the thing about the Millville thing is not only do they piece it together with a young team, right? So they grow through the season, which is hard in high school, right?
Sure.
You got young guys, you're 1-4, now you got these other games. But the impressive thing to me is those kids grew up, and recently, if they were backups, in game of the week type of games, right? Everybody's there. Everybody's jacked up. Everybody knows every player on your team, and it's a big deal. And you're 1-4. I mean, the home crowd's there. I know Millville's home crowd is there, but is anybody else there? Really have to say, like, guys,
you weren't getting your plus.
Pull it together, keep it together.
Yep.
We know what we're capable of. So credit to those young men and that staff for keeping things together and playing like the Millville we all have been used to seeing.
And to note, it's probably a little harder being in a position that they were in. Having the last 6 years they've been on a run.
Yeah.
And then to come in and you start losing games and you could get to doubting yourself and all that stuff. As players, are we as good as the teams before? Because that's the benchmark.
Right.
So just to
not yet, but
kind of to keep it together, they
when you look at the quality and how they rank it, going back to the beginning of how do they weight this stuff out and wire. I mean, this is a Millville's 4-4. They're the 2 seed. So they went 1-4. Now they're the 2 seed in this bracket that has. I mean, these teams aren't slouches. Central's 8-1. Shawnee, we know what they're capable of. We know what they've done this year. So,
it was a huge win. Win to get to that 2 seed for them.
Oh yeah,
to get on the other side away from Winslow. Look, I think the elephant in the room is everybody's like, well, it's all who's going to be playing Winslow at Winslow, but maybe not. It's high school. We'll see.
We will see. And we'll also see what we got in Group 5. And that's coming up in our final segment. So stick with us after this break. We're going to go through the Group 5 playoffs in South and Central Jersey with the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and has dedicated itself to helping others. The association has donated close to $100,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Capstone Medical Services, a dedicated team of experienced healthcare professionals with a strong presence at the youth, middle school, high school, collegiate, and post-collegiate levels. They specialize in athletic training services and sports medicine for youth, high school, collegiate, and adult sports, event EMT and paramedic coverage for events and gatherings of all types and sizes, ensuring everyone's safety, injury prevention and workplace injury programs for commercial and industrial organizations, American Red Cross training, ideal for coaches, youth group leaders, church organizations, businesses of all sizes, and school districts. At Capstone, they are committed to delivering exceptional medical services that exceed expectations. No team will work harder or more passionately for you or your athletes. They proudly serve athletes of all ages, schools, businesses, and event organizers, ensuring the health and safety of every individual in every setting. Whether on the field, at work, or during special events, Capstone is here to protect, support, and serve because your safety is our top priority. To learn how Capstone Medical Services can support your school, organization, or event, call 855-EVENT-CMS or visit capstonemedicalservices.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley alone. And I've had the opportunity to be around Mike Fody, the owner, and I have nothing but the best things to say about Mike and his crew. SRA is a gold accredited member of the Better Business Bureau under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up a number of Best of South Jersey awards in the past. They also contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com.
Enthusiastic about football? Become a part of the NJFOA South Football Association and team up with us to officiate high school football. Join us on the field. Our cadet class kicks off in March. Register on our website or by scanning the QR code in this ad. Put the stripes on and join us on the gridiron today.
Welcome back, New Jersey football fans, to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. We're going to preview our Group 5s here. We're down to the final segment. For those of you who've hung with us, great. We appreciate it. Be sure to share this out. I know you guys all have a lot of friends, family, whatever, who are big football fans, and I want everybody to be prepared
You're
for
gonna
these
have to
playoffs.
you're gonna have to watch this show in segments. That's for sure. Right? You're gonna
put it on. Yeah, look,
You're-
the thing's on Spotify. It comes on Apple Podcasts. You put it in your ear. You get on the treadmill. You walk around your neighborhood. You're trick or treating, whatever, with your kids.
I'm just saying, a lot of segments, a lot of
Trunk
different,
or treat.
group-
Put it on the
Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, Group 4. Now we're Group 5.
We're Group 5.
Group 5.
Central Group 5, the 1 seed is Washington Township at 9-0. They host 8 seed Howell, 3-6, Friday at 6 p.m. Cole Aquino became the first player in Washington Township history to throw for 4,000 yards. He has 1,100 this year, 15 touchdowns and just 3 interceptions. Colin Bealers run for 793 and 13 touchdowns. Paris Pratt, big targeted receiver, 5 touchdowns. And Gabe Palaganis defensively, he plays up front. You got Jalen Robinson behind him. You got Parker Reese in the secondary. You got Jair Moore at cornerback. Got a lot of great players there. But Gabe, 3 sacks, 17 tackles for loss, 48 total tackles, 3 forced fumbles. The Minutemen are playing a short team. They've been knocked out of the playoffs the last 3 years by a short team. It was Thomas River North twice and Marlboro once. Hal, the Rebels, Colin Acker, 1,100 passing yards, 10 touchdowns. Jack Quinn has caught 2 touchdowns. Defensively, Ivan Padilla, 13.5 sacks, 34 tackles total. First time Hal's made the playoffs in back-to-back seasons since 2016 and 2017. Mac, your final team started a 5-year drought for Hal. You guys...
We beat them in the... I think we beat them in the semis, right? Yeah, JoJo.
Beat Violent in the first round?
Yeah, JoJo had 6 touchdowns that game.
Yeah.
I think we
really left a mark.
I think we scored 9 touchdowns.
Rancocas Valley is the 4 seed in this bracket. 5-4, they host Hillsboro at 4-5 Saturday at noon. Savion Adams is back. We know what he can bring. Jameer Bellamy running the ball, 864 and 11 touchdowns. Michael Beasley and David Agonsola, 22.5 sacks between the two of them, 48 tackles for loss, 161 total tackles, and they forced 3 fumbles. They beat Hillsboro last year in the sectional semifinal, an absolute classic, 35-30. The Raiders, Devin Karana, quarterback, 1,100-yard passer, 6 touchdowns. Shane Karana, I'm guessing there's a relation there, 27 receptions, 513, and 3 touchdowns. And Andrew Schwartz has carried 180 times, 1,000 yards, rusher, 12 touchdowns. They're seeking their first sectional title since 2021, Coach Cardi. Other matchups there, 2 seed Sayreville hosting 7 seed Trenton Friday night, and the 3 seed Old Bridge is hosting the 6 seed Freehold Township Saturday night. That's Central Group 5. Washington Township was the top team in the bottom half of the state. They're more central than the number 2 team. That's why they're in charge of the central bracket, not the south bracket. The team that's in charge of the south bracket is Atlantic City. 7-1.
They send Washington Township up.
They're hosting Cherokee, who's 3-6, Friday at 6 p.m.
Rematch.
Marvin Burrows, man, he's running the run and shoot for the Vikings. 113 completions on 180 attempts, 1,827 yards and 18 touchdowns. Kyrie Barksdale's run for 326 and 4 touchdowns. Jalen Day caught 37 passes for 696 and 8 touchdowns. Tamir Rex has caught 27 balls for 493 and 5 touchdowns. They've won 5 straight games since losing to Cedar Creek in week 2, and they beat Cherokee in a wild one on September 26 at Cherokee, 24-20. Cherokee side, you got Cooper Birdie, do-it-all-star quarterback, 862 yards passing, 7 touchdowns. He's run 73 times for 462 and 4 more. Brandon Markowski at running back, 467, 8 touchdowns. Josh Shartoff at receiver, 4 touchdowns. And Dylan Kalinsky at running back, 318, 3 touchdowns. First playoff berth under first-year head coach Sean DeVisi. Cherokee rematch?
Yeah.
Atlantic City.
I mean, look, you talk about walking through a hallway in a locker room that's used to being there, right? I mean,
yeah.
And then Atlantic City's got to play a team that it was a crazy close game rematch. I mean, this is one that you look at and you're like, whoa. Atlantic City doesn't want this, but and then Cherokee has a chance to again redeem itself on its loss, come back, and then again second season type thing, right? You go through a second season, or now it's second season, and the Chiefs somehow do some Chief stuff.
The Orange.
This is their time of year, man. And the Orange. The orange and brown come out.
The orange and brown.
I've seen it, and seen them do some special things under some special coaches in the past. So, and so is Coach DeVisi. He's been around. So
yeah, interesting matchup. Another rematch, right? 8-1, very close game. I mean, to see that that's a rematch as close as that game was the first time, as the 8-1. That's good stuff. The 3-6, let's skip down to that. You got Kingsway at 7-2, hosts Eastern at 6-3. That's Thursday at 6 p.m. David Oravets had a great year, 1,446 yards passing, 15 touchdowns. I like Cole Danick a lot. He's one of the better linebackers in South Jersey.
One of the better
Also,
players. Yeah.
18 touchdowns rushing, 4 touchdowns receiving. They get him involved in that screen game. It's a big deal for Kingsway. Jordan Hernandez has 4 sacks, 13 tackles for loss. It's Kingsway's first round playoff game since 2022. They're playing an Eastern team that's led by Nick Carreri at quarterback, 1,115 yards, 13 touchdowns. Max Cutler done a great job on the ground with 5 touchdowns, rushing 502 yards total. But Terry Cook is the guy who makes it all go, right? He's got 8 receiving touchdowns. I think he scored on defense. Bruce Magladry, 4.5 sacks, 17 tackles for loss, 57.5 total tackles. Eastern's looking for their first playoff win since 2013. That seems like crazy to think that it's been that long.
Yeah,
It's a long time.
I would have said that long. I know they've had some blips, but man,
It's a tough test going into Kingsway. Kingsway's been playing well really all year. I think the games that were their truest tests. I mean, last week they really showed me something when they bounced back against Williamstown, handled business in a blowout win after that tough loss at Washington Township 2 weeks ago. Their 2 losses are to Camden and Washington Township, 2 teams we think highly of, and 2 games that I think Kingsway probably feels like they should have won. They're up 12 with 5 minutes left against Washington Township. They got the ball with the lead with a handful of minutes left also against Camden after a 4th down stop.
sure.
Both times just didn't quite close it out. So I'm sure that's been a point of emphasis. The 2 seed in this bracket is Southern. We mentioned them. They're 8-1. They host Williamstown, the 7 seed, who's 3-6 Friday at 6 p.m. The Rams, Carson Abedo, he's got a 1,000-yard passer, 15 touchdowns. Aiden Covell run for 686 and 8 touchdowns. Lucas Favorito, 6 sacks on defense. They're averaging 30.1 points per game this year, the Rams. They're going to play the Braves, a team with Tyson Foreman at quarterback, 790 yards passing, 6 touchdowns. They also run for 2. Trey Alexander, 121 carries, 668, and 9 touchdowns. Aiden Ezeraku, 4 sacks, 10.5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles. First playoff berth for Williamstown since 2022. Their first in Coach Fusitola's second stint. Interesting matchup.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the Williamstown took their lumps early, and the South Jersey Shore contest. I mean,
those clashes are always interesting. We're always keeping an eye to see how do we stack up against, or how does South Jersey stack up against the Shore Conference, right, Rod?
And
yeah, this it's a tough draw for them.
Yeah.
Southern's a
very good.
Really good team. The most points they've allowed off season has been 14 points. They have about 3 or 4 shutouts, so it's going to be tough. They have guys that can make plays, and in a game like this, if you can get a couple splash plays early, kind of offset that energy at their home, eliminate mistakes, get a couple knots, a couple turnovers. Things like that. You never know which way this game could go, but it's a tough draw for them.
It's a young team, in Williamstown. So you figure it's a team where if you can the longer you hang in the game, the more confidence the team feels that they can pull it off. Whereas if you start slow or have mistakes early, it could bury you. But interesting game there for the Braves. Then the last game in this bracket that we haven't covered is going to be our game of the week this week. You got the 4 seed in Cherry Hill East at 9-0, hosting the 5 seed in Toms River North at 4-5, Friday at 6 p.m. I'll be there. Josh Greenberg at quarterback for the Cougars, 1,000-yard passer, 15 touchdowns. He's also run 62 times for 819 yards and 11 touchdowns. Jaden Green, 468 yards rushing. Ona Pella on defense, 12.5 sacks, 42 total tackles. Dominic Canzano on defense, 7 sacks, 17 tackles for loss. Cherry Hill East, beat Bridgeton last week to cap a regular season. They win the championship they win their division. They've won their last 17 regular season games. The Mariners, Logan Brill at quarterback, 1,100-yard passer also, 12 touchdowns. Cole Garrison, 582 rushing. 9 touchdowns. Finn Boland on defense, 9.5 sacks, 85 total tackles. Interestingly enough, the last time these two teams played, Toms River North lost to Cherry Hill East 32-21 in 2011. But I'll say this. Toms River North is a 3-time defending state champion in Group 5. And this is, certainly, I'm not putting anybody down when I say this isn't the team of the last 3 years that come in 4 and 5 as the 5 seed. But
they're still Toms River
until
North.
they lose, they're still the defending champs. And they've been holding on to it for quite a long time. They head to Cherry Hill East. It's a huge game.
So Toms River North is, I don't care what the records say in front of it. You never know. I've told the story on this show in 2014. We're a 1 seed. They're an 8 seed. We're undefeated. They're not. I'm talking to Coach O before the game. I said, Coach, I'm looking, I did the glance over there and they're all white uniforms. I'm like, what? He's like, we've had a couple injuries, couple kids come back. I think we're all good now. Yeah. And then the following year we lost them in the state semifinals, 2015. So Toms River North, well coached, well played. Kids understand, they're not Micah Ford's not on the team anymore. Right. But it's still Toms River North.
And that's what I was going to say.
Still Toms River North.
It's kind of similar, very, very similar to the Millville situation. They've been winning. They've had guys go on to, Florida State and Stanford and, different guys like that. Terrell Council leaves. Like they lost a lot of guys there, but they've figured some things out at the right time. And for Cherry Hill East, this is one of those tough draws as well.
Yeah.
Defending state champion. They're coming in with the little chip on their shoulder. It's going to be a tough one.
Especially when it reminds me of us in 14 where you are 9-0 and everybody, everybody's like, well, you're undefeated. Well, we're watching Toms River North we scout them, we watch them on film. It's coach is going to have a challenge. I'm sure having a challenge all week saying, hey guys, this Toms River North team is, I don't care that we haven't lost a regular season game in 2 years. This is going to be different. Because Toms River North is going to have a guy that does something on Saturday or Friday night that his name's not on this pre-sheet right here. Some sophomore that just started figuring stuff out that also weighs 225 and can run hard and angry. They print them down there, over there.
Yeah, and I know we mentioned this last year when they made the playoffs, but I'll say this. The fact that we're sitting here talking about an undefeated Cherry Hill East team hosting the 3-time state champion in a playoff game.
Awesome.
A few years ago, this is unheard of.
Right.
It's unfathomable. You could have told me that.
Look, Coach,
and I would say
you probably would have laughed at it.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly. Did they combine schools?
Right.
Is there, what happened? What Coach Drob's done there has been nothing short of spectacular, and they have a moment now to host this game where, if you look at last year, they win in the first round against Southern. That's a game where they're on the road, so they get that home playoff game against a daunting foe for sure. So that'll be the game of the week. The best 11 rankings for those of you who've hung with us. These are the last rankings before the end of the season, after the playoffs.
What was longer, this show or the Dodgers-Toronto game?
Yeah, that's right. But we're in the 18th inning now.
But you made it, Trib.
We made it.
You made it, and you're going to give us our best 11.
The best 11 rankings, a lot of debate before the show. This could go a number of ways. I will say this. We hit the refresh button on this during the playoffs, and at the end of the year, we unveil exactly what the final best 11 is. So this usually has very little bearing on that at that point. At 11, I still have Haddonfield. Saw them last week. Impressive team. 10, Cherry Hill East. I'll see them this week. After that, you got Atlantic City at 9. That's where they were last week. At 8, you have Cedar Creek. They drop a spot after they lost to Ocean City. At 7, Kingsway bumps up after handling Williamstown. 6, Burlington Township remains there. They're unbeaten, top seed in their bracket in Group 3. St. Augustine Prep is at 5 after their loss to Millville. So they sit at 5th. 4, Camden moves up a spot. Glassboro at 3. A Group 1 team at 3 is excellent. Really. I mean, an excellent team. Washington Township 2. Winslow 1. I would say, we just went through the brackets. We talked about teams we think, state championship, I don't know. But you're thinking of, off the top, you say, who do you think win a state championship? I'd say Winslow, Washington Township, Glassboro, Camden, 1 through 4 there. So,
right, we could have all set. Chris, look, I was able to rip it too today.
Yeah.
And it's double the bubble. Millville, they're going to be a little pissed off. Or, can I say that? They're going to be a little angry.
It all comes out in the wash, man. The playoffs are in front of all of you. Be sure to strap it up, man. Be ready.
That's right.
I want to thank everybody for watching. Again, share it out. It's a lot of work goes into this. Thank you, Chris Baker. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Rod. His company, D2 Sports Network, gets it all done here from Studio B. If you need anything, first-class studio, photos, recording, any of that stuff, reach out to Rod. He is the guy who will hook you up. Tell him we sent you. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. Another great playoff extravaganza. We'll preview all the matchups next week as we get that first round under the belt.
Yep, it's going to get fun. More fun. Funner.
Yeah. The best time of year, man. I mean, this is why you play the game. This is why you co-host the Frenzy Show for weeks like this.
Playoffs are a fun time. Enjoy it, guys, kids, wherever. Doesn't matter if you're a 1 seed, an 8 seed, 9-0, 0 whatever, 3 and whatever. New season, new time. Anyway, and it's not.
Yeah. Get there a little early. Bring your thermos. Put some soup in it or some coffee, hot chocolate, whatever you need. Get up there, man. Feels cold outside.
I might be hitting a couple games, right? I'll be Thursday. I'll be at 1.
Coming out Friday.
I might cameo Friday.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, might do some. And then hit a Saturday, hit a Saturday.
Be out Friday.
Yeah.
I thought about driving down to see the Hoosiers play at Maryland.
There you go. Saturday?
Rod.
Is that Saturday?
It's Saturday. Rod, it's coming. It's coming, Rod. IUOU, OSU.
We're going to have a preview show for that.
Right.
Extravaganza. We'll be back next week, Wednesday, 7 o'clock. We'll go through everything that happened in the first round of the playoffs. Good luck to all of our teams out there. Everybody be sure to drive safely when you go out to the games. You're going out Thursday. Stay dry. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for bearing with us. We have to compete with the World Series, so we did our best. For Tim McAneney, Rod Self, I'm Mark Trible. Thank you for watching or listening to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show.